Hello. So welcome to this iPad tutorial on how to make a Lego. So there's a different video showing how to do this on the Onshape website on a computer. And this video is going to show you how to make the Lego using the Onshape iPad app. So to begin, I'm going to draw the top-down view of my Lego. So I want to click on my top plane. Now before I actually even get into this, please make sure that your units are set up to millimeters and not inches. All right, so make sure you get that done first, and then we can start to sketch. So I'm going to click on my top plane, and I'll click my pencil icon to begin a new sketch. And as a reminder, if you look in the bottom right, you should only click that check mark when you are done sketching. All right, so save that until the end. I'm going to click the pencil icon again to kind of hide that menu for right now. So I'm going to tap with two fingers once, and I'm going to click on View Normal to Sketch Plane at the bottom to get a nice top-down view. I'm then going to click on the eyes in the menu on the upper left to hide my different planes. So I'm going to hide the top, front, and right planes. I'm going to leave the origin there, though. I'm going to just hide the planes. And on the iPad, I'm also going to click that anti-rotation icon in the upper right. It just turned sort of an orange color. So now that's going to prevent me from accidentally rotating my sketch plane. So to begin my Lego, I'm going to click on the pencil again, and I'm going to choose a center point rectangle. I'm going to press and hold down to show my precision selector tool, and I'm going to put it directly over my origin. And when I do that, it's going to form a coincident relation. I'm then going to click and drag out. And now that I've made my rectangle, I need to give this some measurements. So we're going to click on the pencil icon and choose the dimension tool, which is near the bottom right of the menu. So I'm going to use this tool to give some measurements to the length and width of my Lego rectangle. So I'm going to press and hold down again, select my bottom edge, and the measurement that I want is going to be 31.8 millimeters. I'm then going to press and hold down, select my left edge. Oops. Sometimes you need to do it a few times. There we go. And this one is going to be 15.8 millimeters. Now, as I do this, by all means, please pause if you need to, rewind, sort of do what you can do to make sure you can follow this tutorial. Now, I just want to point out for these numbers here, you can move these, get them out of the way, kind of clean up your sketch area. So that's all I need to do for now. I'm going to click the check mark to end my sketch. I'm now going to hit that sort of circle icon in the upper left next to the pencil. I'm going to choose Extrude. So again, Extrude is the fancy way of saying make 3D. If I look at the little Extrude menu, it's telling me to select a face or sketch to extrude. I'm going to click on my rectangle. And if you look at this, you can see it's now been extruded. And the height of my Lego is going to be 9.6 millimeters. By default, it makes it 25, so I'm going to change this to 9.6. And then I'll click my check mark, and there we go. So there's the basic rectangular prism of your Lego. What we're going to do now is I'm going to, again, go back to my top view. So notice my view cube in the upper right. I'm looking at a top view. I'm going to start a new sketch by clicking the pencil. And instead of choosing a plane this time, I'm actually going to click on the top of the Lego. So I'm going to sketch on the top of the Lego, and we're going to make those little cylinders. So this here is going to be a 4x2 Lego. So I'm going to click on a center point circle, and I'm just going to draw, it doesn't really matter where you put it, and just draw sort of a circle. That's great. I'm now going to dimension the circle. So I'm going to go to my dimension tool, and I'm going to use my precision selector and click on the circle itself. I'm going to give this a diameter of 4.8 millimeters. I now need to basically decide where I want this to be, because right now I can move this all over. All right, we need to sort of give it an exact position. So we're going to have some more dimensions. So this time I'm going to measure from the center point of the circle to both the top and the left edge, and it's going to be 3.9 millimeters for both of those. So I'm going to press and hold down. I'm going to click on the middle part of the circle, and then going to click on this top edge. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to make this 3.9. I'll then do it on the left side. So click on the middle part, then click on this edge. And again, make this 3.9. Cool. And again, you can move these around wherever you want to put them, whatever sort of works best for you. So the tendency for some of you may be to sketch out all the circles. We don't need to do that. This is sort of a better way. This is all we need to do. So I'm going to end my sketch by clicking the check mark on the bottom. I'm now going to do another extrusion, and I'm going to click on that circle. And on a Lego, those cylinders extend 1.8 millimeters above. So I'll change it from 25 to 1.8. And you want to make sure that at the top extrusion menu, it says solid. And we'll also want to choose add. All right, so we're going to be adding this to our Lego piece. We're not trying to make new pieces. So that looks good. Click my check mark. And there's one of the little cylinders on top of the Lego. We're now going to use what's called a linear pattern to pattern the rest of the cylinders. So I'll click on my little circle icon at the top. And let's see, the linear pattern is in the third row in the middle. And by default, if you look at pattern type, it wants to make a part pattern. We actually want to pattern a feature. So you want to change that to the second option, because the cylinder, notice it's in our feature menu. So it's a feature, it's not a part. It's now asking us to select a feature. I'm going to click on the cylinder. It's now, I then need to click on the direction, and it's asking me what direction I want to pattern this in. So we want to go left to right, so you can click either the top edge or the bottom edge. But that's going to sort of indicate our direction. The distance in between each of these is going to be 8 millimeters. And for the instance count, we want 4. So there's going to be 4 of them going across. And then on the iPad app, you also need to check off apply per instance. It's something you don't need to do on the website, but on the app you do. And notice when it made this pattern, it's actually doing it in the opposite direction. So there's a little thing here for opposite direction. Just kind of click that. And there we go. So now we've done our part. I'm then going to click on the slider for second direction. And then I'm going to click on the direction. And this time I want to choose a direction that is down. So I'm going to click on a down edge. Again, the distance is going to be 8 millimeters. And for the instance count, we want 2. So there's going to be 2 different rows. All right. Again, notice it did it in the opposite direction. So just choose that slider for opposite direction. And there you have it. So the top of your Lego is all finished. So again, all we did was we made one of those circles. We did the drawing. We then extruded it. Then we just used a linear pattern to do the rest. Easy peasy. Now let's look at the bottom. So if you notice on the Lego, the bottom is shelled out. So we are going to click on that circle icon at the top. We're going to choose on the shell feature. So it's the third row, first one. And what this does is it basically removes material from a face. So I'm going to click on the bottom of the Lego, and by default, the shell thickness is 2.5 millimeters. On a Lego, it should actually be 1.2 millimeters. And I just click the check mark, and that's all there is to it. So I've now shelled out the most of the bottom of the Lego. So one more step to do. If you look at a Lego, there's actually 3 big cylinders on the bottom. So we have to add those 3 cylinders now. So once again, I'm going to make a new sketch. So I'm going to click on the pencil icon again to make a new sketch. I'm going to click on the bottom of my Lego. View normal to sketch plane. And I'm going to choose a center point circle again. So this time, it's important that you hold down your selector and you want to go right over the origin, because we want the middle of our circle to be exactly in the middle of the Lego. I'm going to let go, and I'm going to make 2 circles. So there's one, do another one, line up on the origin, and then I'll make my second circle. I'm now going to click the pencil icon and choose my dimension tool to help dimension these 2 circles. So for the first circle, the diameter is going to be 4.8. And then for the second circle, the diameter is going to be 6.5 millimeters. There we go. So that's all I need to do. I'm going to click the check mark to end my sketch. Now go into extrude. Oops, sorry, not shell. I want to make an extrusion. And when it comes to selecting the entities, you want to click on not the middle circle. So you don't want to do this. What you want to do is you want to oops. Hold on. You want to select right here. So you want sort of like that, this part to be extruded. And as far as the depth, so far we've been using what's called blind, and the blind, and you basically decide for the depth how far you want it to go. We're not going to choose blind this time. So there's some different options. We're going to use up to face. So what this does is it allows you to determine, you can click on a face of your Lego, and that cylinder will be extruded up to that point. So I'm going to actually press and hold down. I'm going to select this part, so the bottom part of that little Lego. Oops. Oops, try it again. There we go. All right, so now if you notice, it's extruded up to the exact same level as that. All right, I'm then going to click the check mark, and there's my first cylinder. All right, so we need to make 2 more. So once again, we're going to use a linear pattern. So I'll click that circle icon on the top, go back to my linear pattern. Once again, we don't want to make a part pattern. We're going to pattern a feature. For the features, we're just going to click on the extruded part. So it's called extrude 3. For the direction, so click on the direction. Again, you want any sort of edge going left to right. So I can click on this. And the distance will once again be 8 millimeters. And this time, what we're actually going to do is we're going to choose the selector that says centered. All right, so the one that we made is going to be centered. And it's now going to, when you chose instance count of 2, it's going to have 1 on either side. And I'll click my check mark. And there we go. So there's our Lego. I hope that was helpful. And again, if certain parts were confusing, please go back, rewind it, pause it, watch it again. And if you have any questions, send me an email. All right, thank you.